Just to review, you broke the chronal barrier, went back in time, prevented your mother's murder, and completely changed the time stream.
Nearly destroying the entire world along the way, yes. There's still something I don't understand.
Well, the big news at DC Comics is that we're about to launch 52 all-new series. 52 great artists, 52 great writers, and so much going on. I just can't wait for everybody to see it.
Everything is new, everything is fresh, our heroes are young.
So, what can you do?
New ways of looking at characters, new ways of thinking about characters, things that were familiar will now be kind of unfamiliar. Things that may have seemed stale or boring are suddenly being revitalized and plugged into feelings that people are having right now.
Get the hell out of my cave.
We're gonna be bold, we're gonna be different, we're gonna do things that you never expected.
I've got you now.
Just like in the movies.
We're gonna take these iconic characters and we're gonna give you a fresh new look. And I think we delivered on that on every level. Coming up with new looks, new storylines.
You're not just some guy in a bat.
In the 10 years that I've been here, we've done some great events and some big stories and big books, but this is probably the single most exciting time in the 10 years that I've been with DC.
Everyone knows these characters, but we're gonna show them something completely different, something completely exciting, something completely new.
All right, we are live. Andrew, say something for me.
We are live.
We are live. You are good. Guys, how is it going? I know it's kind of weird. It's a Sunday, and yet we are having a foil variant today. I know it's very odd. I know it's Easter. Hopefully everybody is done with their Easter celebrations. You went and you hung out with your family. You went to church. You picked eggs. Well, found eggs, I guess. You don't really pick them. However you celebrate the day, I hope you had a good one, and I hope you guys are ready. We are here with the 52nd episode, officially at least, of Foil Variant. I know there's been some 0 episodes, some like half episodes, some solo streams, some interview streams, so it's been roughly 52.
The truth is, we're in charge of the continuity here, so we can number it however we want. If
Honestly,
we want, we can come up with a legacy number as well, kind of do the Marvel
we really
nonsense,
we could,
right?
It's like legacy number. I know Zero knows really well. It's like legacy 64 or something. I know we're a little bit past that. The big bummer is I originally wished, and I knew this was unrealistic, I wished that we could have done our 52nd episode like perfectly in a year. And then we could have been like, it's the year anniversary as well. Let's go. But with everything you and I have going on, there's just absolutely no way we could have pulled that off.
There were too many work trips, too many long work days and nights, whether it was you having stuff at Bounding at the time,
or you over there
me
kicking
doing
ass
travel
at
for
Blue
the
Shift,
Rippaverse.
Or Rippazine 5, however we want to advertise it. I don't know what the official copy we're allowed to use right now, whether you want to call it Rippazine 5 or the character. I don't know yet.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. But guys, we are here today with our 52nd episode. You might have noticed we had a new little intro. You might notice that we have a bit of a shifted background here. What we're doing today is, instead of a regular foil variant episode where we would have reviewed the week's pulls and all that, we decided with the 52nd episode, and with this being the 15-year anniversary of the entire shebang, we thought that for episode 52, we would go back and we would do a retrospective on DC's 52. So for this reading, Andrew and I dug into the 52. I know Andrew hit, you don't have everything, right? Like you hit your trade. So you got like,
I don't have everything. I mean, I could have read some digitally, like on, my DC app or
Unlimited
whatever else,
stuff,
but the ones that I mainly hit were the ones that I do own in physical trade, because that's what I prefer to read when I have the opportunities. So there was a good half dozen plus that I mainly focused on with there, because I read the first full arcs, and some of those have like 9 issues as well.
I know, it's weird. It really throws me
actually
off.
The first trade for Flash is actually 8 issues.
It's 8?
Yeah, it's 8.
That's like, it had a regular run too. That's so weird for it to have 8.
Yeah.
Oh well. I mean, one of the better series in like the release though. We've got to admit that, right? Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But So what did you hit besides Flash? I know you had, like we said, you had a more limited reread.
Yeah, I had a little more limited bandwidth, but I hit Justice League first because that was kind of that's the one that like kind of kicked off the whole thing, right?
Yep.
I hit normal Batman. I hit Batman the Dark Knight.
Is that the
Because
Tony
that one was
Daniel
always
one?
yeah, it's the Tony Daniel one. As well as Dave Finch, I
Yes, on the
believe.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, Finch. Which
Where
was, I mean, it's beautiful art. The art is insane. Dave Finch on Batman is ridiculous. I hit Teen Titans.
you did.
I
Wow.
did. I chose to hit Teen
I'm
Titans.
so sorry there.
You know, it was yeah, I don't even know where I
Look at
could
that.
really go with
He
that.
even tried there. He even tried to be like, it's not
I was
that bad, but in
like,
reality, it's pretty that bad.
if it was its own team or something completely different, not tying it to these legacy characters, and that's part of the problem with New 52 in general, where they do a lot of things where it's like, this is actually an interesting idea, and these could be interesting characters, but the problem is you're telling me that they're these specific characters, and they act nothing like them.
And they
Like,
are
for instance,
completely off.
I didn't end up finishing the whole thing, but I got a little over halfway through a reread of Superman Unchained.
Unchained. Is that the Tom
Which
King one?
No, this is Scott Snyder.
Oh,
Actually.
that's
Scott Snyder
right.
wrote this one, and
forgot
I had
about that.
misremembered it because for some reason I thought it was Jeff Johns. I don't know how I've misremembered that. But it was Scott Snyder writing and Lee on pencils.
Of course,
And
yeah.
obviously Lee's usual team, right? Because he's always got Alex Sinclair on colors because he's got his own personal colors, right?
And then
that he
Scott
just probably
Williams on
calls
his
up.
inks.
Yeah, yeah. And so I got through most of that, and it's like, the story isn't perfect, but this could have been a really interesting and fun story. The problem is you're telling me it's Superman.
That, I think, is going to be a running thread here with a lot of what we see with the New 52, because I mean, let's just get into it, right? We don't need any big old introduction. If you guys remember, boom, 2011, out of nowhere, DC announces, hey guys, we are going to fully reboot everything. And we mean like for the first time, they were like complete reset. At least that's how they framed it at first, right? So they said, what are we going to do? Let's do a whole big thing. Everything is getting reset. 52 new series, which I actually learned was supposed to originally be 48. That's what Dan Didio wanted. And then Jim Lee was like, but come on, man. Like 52 is like our number. We can do
just four more, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, I think Lee was in the right there, right? You can't
I
just
think
go
it was
like,
right there. I just, some of the titles that they did do were just,
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is that at base, I think we can talk. So for those who don't remember, we'll do a quick recap. I don't think we want to stick on the event for too long because it'll just take you and I for a day, right? But
and then we'd spend an hour and a half just talking Flashpoint.
We really would. And then the next hour and a half would be like the adaptations. But if you guys remember, the event that birthed all of this was something called the Flashpoint. Well, it's Flashpoint in the comics, Flashpoint Paradox in like the movies
for the
and
adaptation.
everything.
Yeah.
So I remember, Andrew, being really weirded out when they announced the Flashpoint series because we had just gotten Final Crisis. And I felt like we had, Grant Morrison wrapped all that. We were in a new chapter of the DC universe. That whole event ends with the 52 being restored, right? And like, bold new day. And then we get Flash Rebirth. And then like a year or two later, they go, oh, check it out. Big old Flash event. And we get Flashpoint.
Yeah, because we have Final Crisis. That was what, 2008 into 9? And then 2009 is when we get Flash Rebirth. And then 2011 is when Flashpoint happens.
Well, 11 is
so
when like 11 is when it ends and like 52 starts. So that has to have been like 2010 maybe or early 11.
Yeah.
So they were flying through it at that point. And I remember one being like, really? We're doing another big old universe reset thing that we just did? And then I've always found the premise of Flashpoint, it doesn't land right with me. Right? Like, it's the wrong person for the story. For those who don't remember, the whole thing with Flashpoint, Barry out of nowhere decides, I'm going to go back in time and save my mom from dying. He does that.
Yeah.
It causes the whole awful
because
evil
we learn in Flash Rebirth
that's
that
right,
Eobard Thawne killed his mom and caused all these painful things in his life, and then Barry decides, I'm going to go and do this. And without banging too hard on it, because it's super easy. Again, we could spend an hour and a half just talking
really
Flashpoint alone, and not even counting also having to talk like the Flash Rebirth lead into that.
Oh,
but
don't even forget here. I'm gonna just tickle you because I forgot all about this until I went and I was like looking at stuff. There's a mini included in that called like Legion Lost Flash or Kid Flash Lost, and it's about Bart being like disembodied, and it ends with him becoming the energy that gives Barry the push to catch himself and stop him from like flashpointing. And I'm like, you set up Bart that strong, and okay, he dies, but then you're resetting everything and you couldn't bring him back to us. So it's a disaster of an event. It's a really big disaster.
The whole Flashpoint and subsequent New 52 thing destroyed the Flash family more than anything else in the DC universe. It was actually pretty ridiculous.
I mean, we get a lot of characters who get screwed over. I mean, Wonder Woman, we'll talk about her. Superman to an extent, but Flash is where it just collapses completely, which is
because
stunning.
The whole issue that I have with Flashpoint, not just the fact that it results in the New 52, but I think a big problem with it is it feels like a mischaracterization of Barry at this point in his career. This is like the mistake that a young Barry makes, right? This is even though it was only an episode or 2 episodes at most, like in the CW show when they did Flashpoint there.
It was only one, which was weird.
Yeah, I think it was only one. Yeah, you're right. But at least that was a young Barry, right?
That was like
so that was like, okay, so he's in his 20s. He's still early in his career. He's only been doing this for a couple of years, so that, okay. I can understand a younger, more emotional, non-veteran and grizzled version of the character. I can see him making that call.
Right.
But this Barry Allen had been around for a very long time. He's meant to be the more wise version of the character.
He's almost messianic.
He's a veteran hero.
Yeah.
So that's one of my biggest issues with Flashpoint.
And that is what I was getting at too, is that there is no world in which the Barry Allen who has sacrificed himself in Crisis, right, or knows that's coming, goes and says, oh, I can just change time. Like, that's his entire thing, is you don't go back in time and change things. And I don't remember if they mention it in the series, but I know they mentioned it in the movie because I was obviously watching it a lot to get clips. But Barry like freaks out and he's like, "What? I only meant to save my mom. It shouldn't have changed everything else." And then Batman is rightfully like, "Well, yeah, it ripples out. That's not how we do things here." So yeah, Flashpoint, very, very weird. Clone Geek says, weren't they meant to reboot after Final Crisis? Well, Final Crisis was sort of a reboot. What that was a reboot of was their multiverse, because in Infinite, they had collapsed it all and it was gone. And so here in Final, they were like, let's play with it again. And we got the 52 worlds back, and that was supposed to, spread everybody back out, get them into their right places. But then, as we know, right, everybody with comic book publishers, especially the big two, halfway through development, or everything changes. Everything goes, oh, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? That's how we end up with New 52. That's how we ended up with Secret Wars being a complete nothing burger, except for bringing Miles over. But it's very clearly, I mean, that's the other aspect of this, I think, that we're not mentioning, and that a lot of people fail to mention, which is at that point in 2011, things were getting really, really dire for the industry, right? Like, it wouldn't hit the 2014-15 levels for a couple years, obviously, but we started seeing like, oh, there's a massive decline here in people really interested in the comics, even as the MCU
the late 2000s was not good for comics. It was really bad for not just the mainstream, just comics in general. It was really bad. And then you start getting into the 2010s and it was worse. However, DC did see that initial big spike with the New 52 launch,
They
because
did.
people were like, oh, well, this is something interesting, this is something fresh. And their initial pitch for it was also like, hey, look at the landscape right now. This is the early 2010s. This is when like the biggest superhero film boom we had ever seen had just happened, right?
Yes.
That was
With the
things were
original-
really kicking
yeah.
off now, right? With the first wave of MCU films. So we have that happen. And they rightfully were like, well, hey, we have the opportunity here to reach an entirely new audience and broaden our audience, right? Increase our audience size. And if you're a for-profit enterprise, which DC would be lying to say that they aren't, right? Some of their decisions might convince you that they aren't, but they are in fact a for-profit enterprise. And so same thing with Marvel. And so they were like, okay, so let's get our continuity's kind of all over the place. I can see how it could be difficult to jump in, because the truth is with DC and Marvel, it is actually very difficult to jump in if you don't know somebody like Mav, like myself, like maybe a lot of the other, you know, actual comic book fans
your
that are online.
Aaron Sparrows, your Kanans, your Caros, your Saskas. Like if you don't have
people in your life,
a Sherpa, if you will.
Exactly. If you don't have somebody who is your like link and your bridge in to be able to direct you and guide you, like, hey, okay, what character you want to check out? That character, cool. Here are your starting points, right? These are probably your best jumping on points. If you don't have that, it can be very daunting. It can be very, very difficult to get into. And so the initial premise of this wasn't that bad of an idea.
It really was not that bad of an idea.
The idea of it on paper was actually really strong. It was like, okay, so we're gonna reset things. We're going back to blank slate. All right, fine. But
let's do it.
When you do that, if you want to retain your core audience, there are still certain expectations that they have, right? And that's where they lost the plot, right?
Well,
because they threw out everything except for Batman, but then they condensed Batman's history into 5 years.
Green Lantern, as we'll get into, because I have our favorite graphic ready to go, because that is a pivotal part of this discussion. But on that note, I want to actually bring up a little clip from one of the main writers of this whole shebang, right? Which was Scott Snyder. This is actually an interview taken in 2011.
Young Scott Snyder.
This is 2011 at the
a decade and a half ago
premiere of, or like, I don't know what you want to call it, but like the debut of the new 50. I think it was like at Midtown, and they did it at midnight, like Midtown Comics, and so people are out. It's very funny to see. Like,
that's crazy.
They really went all out with this promotion, which I think we all appreciated at the time, but it never caught on as like a genre of coverage, if you will. And so like you don't see nobody covered the Ultimate Universe, right? Nobody did something like this for Absolute. Nowadays it's just like, we're having midnight launches, fans come hang out. But when I was watching this interview, Scott said something pretty interesting about how this whole affair got started in the writer's room.
There's book after book that I've read personally, or the books that I was dying to get that they gave me.
You can't hear it?
Hopefully our audience can.
Oh man. Well, okay. I think our audience can. I'll tell you what he says in a second.
They probably
are really strong. And so what DC did was, you know, with the initiative was to give all of us writers a chance to say, any story you want with a character you love, tell us. And even if it reboots the character, we'll listen, because we're going to do this relaunch. And
so what he said right there, and I know you couldn't hear it, is basically DC came up to all of their writers and said, if you have a story for a character, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what, doesn't even matter if it's a full reboot of the character, pitch it. Tell us like what it is, because we're going to do this whole reboot. And I think, to your point, that is where you and I talk about a lot. You sometimes need like constrictions, like rules to create within. Because
sometimes you need some guidelines, man. Sometimes you need some guardrails, some bumper bars, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
Not necessarily training wheels, but something hey, you still have to operate within this relative area. Like, take, for instance, I think it's funny that you got Scott Snyder up here, because you take his Batman run, right? And it's still, even though he was doing some different things, it still felt like he was operating within the relative framework that we would expect of Batman. He was just tackling it as an individual, right? He's a unique writer, so he's going to have a different perspective. He's going to draw things out of the characters that are different from, say, like what Matt Fraction's doing right now, or
Yes.
what Tinian was doing, right? Like every writer is an individual. No two writers are going to write the same character the exact same way.
And if
because
they are, then
they are taking their own kind of lived experience and drawing on some beats that they connect with more.
With Jeff,
right? And if they are kind of just retreading that character again and again, that can be fine. It's like, you know, that's where you get like serviceable. That's where you get Wally beats.
Wally beats. Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this, you know, writer B is writing Batman like writer A, okay, but you're not building on it. And because you're so attached to like, oh, I have to respect Snyder because I'm picking up his run, you don't swing, and so it gets stale, and that's where things start to collapse. So I do agree with you, Andrew. Like base, this was a really smart idea, especially, you know, get new readers in, refresh everything, kind of throw off those shackles of what, 60 years of continuity, 80 at that point, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But, you know, and we all know comic books. I think most of us out there understood that over time, things will get retconned. Maybe they'll bring something back. Maybe they'll kill some things. But
Barry created the Speed Force.
Oh my God, it's so. And then they retouch on it, and it's a bad. It was a bad concept. That's the other thing, right?
That was the freaking, you know, Dan Didio Silver Age glad handing is what that is. Like I'm gonna prop up all the Silver Age characters specifically so that I'm trying to elevate them over the Bronze Age characters.
Which was, I mean, we know that's Didio's play. I mean, he wanted to kill Nightwing. He wanted, you know, he hates all that stuff.
He wanted to kill Kyle. Wanted to kill Wally.
Donna, Wally, pretty much every good legacy character. He was like, no, get him out of there. Even though, like, why do you need to do a publishing initiative for that when, like, your writers just do that anyway? You know what I mean? Like nobody writes a Nightwing story. Nobody writes a Donna story. Kyle is just now... I'm gonna lose my mind, dude. Okay, so the new Green Lantern, like 600, big old anniversary issue. It's a jump on issue. Came out like 2 weeks ago. The damn story, and I don't know if it's the arc or just the story in the book, but it's titled "The Rise of Kyle Rayner," and I'm like, no, like the dude's been here since the '90s. What rise? Like he's the White Lantern. We just saw V. Ken, our boy, like make him go super anime and awesome. What are we doing here? It's pretty ridiculous in that regard. It just makes me angry. But I don't even know what we were saying off. I think that's a good point to, what do you say we finally start jumping into what some of the New 52 did for us, what it offered us.
Let's do it.
Before we,
because there's some good and there's some bad, and this is kind of the good, bad, and the ugly.
This really is the good, bad, and the ugly of the New 52. So before we dive in, as I mentioned a second ago, let's get some prep work in by taking a look at quite possibly one of our favorite graphics of all time. So, as Andrew and I were explaining, the New 52 came out of nowhere almost, right? We were in the middle of things. We had just had Final Crisis. Everything was sort of settling. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're going to reset. Now, the problem is, actually, as Zero brings up here, and as Andrew and I have complained about with Secret Wars a bunch, the New 52, you know, they went, all right, we're going to reboot everything. Problem was, at the time...
They didn't.
They didn't, because at the time, they had two breakout things happening, which was Grant Morrison's Batman run, where he had just introduced Damian and Batman Inc., and they really wanted to play on that, as well as all of the War of the Light stuff.
Yeah, Batman and Son and all of that, like, all that stuff did very well for them.
Oh, it did gangbusters for them, regardless of, like, what you might have thought about an individual story. Like, that Son of Batman stuff kept them afloat for a long, long time, and it continues to do so. The Green Lantern one is so egregious that, again, remember, like Andrew just said, it's supposed to be a jump-on point. We're all new. We're all fresh. Green Lantern #1 of the New 52 opens up with, you know, Sinestro Thrall of Korugar, welcome to the Green Lantern Corps. And it's like picking up from that. And so if you're a new reader and you're like, oh, I love Green Lantern, and you pick that up, good luck. Like, oh, Sinestro's Green Lantern. I don't know why he's the Green Lantern. So because of that, which because you had to make sure that all of this stuff was brought forward and worked, we ended up getting one of the most hilariously compressed timelines of all time in Batman, which is over the course. So at the time the New 52 starts, he has been, it's been about like 7 years since he left Gotham, and now he's back. So after 7 years, he returns to Gotham. It's time for Batman Year One. He goes in, he fights Joker, he fights the Al Ghuls. So a year after that, in year 2 of being Batman, Dick Grayson gets murdered, or his parents get murdered. He adopts Dick, and we have our first Robin. After that, we just 2 years after getting Dick, Batman recruits Jason because Dick goes off to be Nightwing. A year after, or not even a year, right? So within that year of Jason dies and is beaten by the Joker. Within that next, we had the next year, Tim uncovers Batman's identity and he's Robin now. And that's like 2 years from when we start. That's year 5 of his career. Within those 2 years, he goes from Tim to Stephanie, has Stephanie die, and then discovers Damian and trains him to be Batman. So you're looking at, over the course of 4 or 5 years, he goes through his entire Robin roster, which I know you and I, there's always that suspension of disbelief. We got to understand how the mediums work, but this really puts into the perspective that joke of Batman really, really, really goes through Robins, and maybe he shouldn't have sidekicks.
Maybe he shouldn't have a ward. This compressed timeline thing was one of the most ridiculous things when I saw it, because when you're initially reading New 52, especially even I don't have, for whatever reason, my normal trade here, but you take just this is Court of Owls, right? Yeah, this is Court of Owls. Oh, there goes Flash Rebirth. And you open it up and you've got all of the Robins right here, right?
Oh, yeah, because they're getting ready for that fundraiser.
You're like,
everybody but Jason, yeah.
You're like, how are y'all right here, all at once now? And then when they try and put that into perspective and make it make sense on paper with that timeline, you're like,
oh, you're actually bad. Yeah, you're actually bad at this.
You're really bad at this.
My Batman keeps coming up to me and telling me he keeps losing wards, and I say, what happens every time you lose a ward? He says, I adopt a new one. And I said, it sounds like you're just feeding wards to the villain machine, right?
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like with that timeline. So this is where sort of the foundation of this event, of this initiative, already has cracks in it, right? Because if we're going full wipe, and you have to keep these two really, really ongoing prominent things in place, you can't really wipe everything. It's weird.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. But they tried.
They did try. And let me ask you this, Andrew. How do you think it would have landed if they were okay, we're New 52ing, but that Batman and that Green Lantern are... no, see, that sounds too confusing, right? Because they'll be they're their own series, their own continuity, and then they'll link up with our continuity. Yeah, it's just too much. It's just a bad idea. It's hush.
I'm gonna I see you. Counterpoint. DCKO, Matt Fraction's Batman. Hush.
I know. I
Batman but look 3 completely different timelines right now.
It's gonna be great when they have to line that up, and we have psychological Joker being oh, my brain is broken. I'm in this stasis tube. I'm Luke Skywalker. And he's no, I've had a revelation. We're friends or whatever. It's kind of interesting what they're doing. But at some point they have to go, oh, hey, remember that time you turned into a parademon? Oh no, where'd Andrew go?
I just turned off my camera for a quick second.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure.
I just had to reach over and grab something that fell.
No worries. I gotta rearrange that because there you go. Because now if you go off, it'll show your go away thing.
Does it automatically do the thing?
Yeah. Now it will. So
cool.
Obviously, guys, So we just wanted to touch on the Batman of it all, because that is one of mine and Andrew's favorite little pieces of trivia, and one of those examples of like,
and it's also one of the best books still, despite that.
Despite all of that, Batman was one of the winners of that. So to that point, I actually want to bring up a little clip really quick. Let me make sure I've got the right spot of it, because where does he say it? Yep. Where does he say it? I know this. Come on. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, yeah. So we'll go to here really quick. So obviously, guys, we don't have time today, or pretty much any day, to sit and review 52 series, 52 arcs of
hell no,
of varying lengths, of varying quality. I read most of these series. I unfortunately couldn't get all of them.
You reread a lot more of them than I was able to.
And let me just tell you, there are some winners out there that, you know, Green Lantern New Guardians. I absolutely loved that series, because it's basically like emotional spectrum Power Rangers, right? Like, that was a really good series. Like you were saying, that Tony Daniel Dark Knight is actually pretty good.
At least that first arc. I don't remember the second arc as much. Cycle of Violence.
I can't remember second arcs for anything. Like, I couldn't remember the second arc of Justice League, and I forget it's technically like everybody goes Cheetah, and then they go to the Throne of Atlantis. And
I was gonna say the third one. Third one is Throne of Atlantis,
and the second one is just like, oh, Cheetah's here, and she's turning us all into cheetahs. It was very, very odd. But with that all said, we're opting not to go through all 52. Instead, we're going to hit some of the bigger books, the highlights, and a lot of this is going to center around the, you know, our main pillars, the Trinity. And that's where I wanted to throw this over here to Dan Didio himself during an interview early, like right before the New 52 came out. He's giving an interview about what it was like creating all of them. And he drops a pretty poignant line, and it's going to be the thesis of where we're going to go today.
Let's talk about Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Not just important in the DC universe, not just important in the comic book space, but important in popular culture. Talk to me about your strategy when you assign creators and when you assign development of them moving forward. How does that all work out? Because you were dealing with three very important people.
That's a really interesting question, because I always tell the same story about Superman. We can have everything working extraordinarily well in our entire line, but if the Superman book's not working, for some reason people feel like the DC universe is off kilter. When people are excited about a Superman book, the rest of the line seems to elevate with it. I mean, listen, Batman's our bestseller, no argument there, and we have an incredible team on board with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. They've been doing a great job since the launch of New 52.
God, look at how young they are. That's weird, but
that's really weird. Yeah, they don't look like that anymore.
We've had some great creators.
They really don't.
We had some starts and stops along the way, but the reality is, with the launch now that we have taking place with Jeff Johns and John Romita Jr. Now, with John Romita Jr., I've been at Cliff, and it's interesting because you have Superman and Wonder Woman that extraordinarily
did I pull up the wrong interview?
They're more about what they stand
touches
for
on
than
it.
characters, and those are very hard stories to tell.
So basically, we did get the core right there, but it is, if the Trinity isn't working, then none of DC is going to be working. And in particular, if Superman's not working, none of your line is going to work. So I think that's where we're going to focus today. We're going to do, I know we're going to hit Justice League. We'll look at Batman. I don't know if you hit them, but I think I'll at least bring them up because I think you might remember them. But Superman and Wonder Woman, what was going on with them. And then, honestly, if we can get a chance to, I actually don't know what there is to say about it, but I think we at least owe it to ourselves, Andrew, and we owe it to everybody who watches our show on the regular. We owe it to them to pull up where, oh right, it's under T for Time to Leave. Best South Park joke ever. Let's see, are we up? I just wanted to give a special shout out, because we were talking about it, to the Flash series that came out of the New 52. By, I know it was Manopal and Bucatello, Brian Bucatello. It's one of the best. Like,
it really is. It's one of the most consistent. So it does do some things that I'm not fond of, but in terms of just general storytelling,
that's where I'm going.
It stays far more consistent than most of the New 52 line. I mean consistently, like, solid.
Solid. It does do, how do we put this? It obviously is trying to play in the framework of the New 52, Barry, which is, more dark, a little more sad, a little broodier, younger. Even with that, right? Like Manipul and Bucatello know how to both illustrate and write this very hopeful kind of guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I read this series and it very much feels like I get like a Silver Age feeling from it, where like, yeah, things might go wrong, but there's a hope, and you can see all of his powers generating. And honestly, the New 52 lines, they work here. Like I've never been like on Flash, cool, that actually makes sense. Maybe Green Lantern, nobody else should have them. Like absolutely zero people should have them. But it's funny because as we were talking about, this Flash is completely different from kind of what the main Flash of it all was, if you will. And with that, we will open up. Hopefully it'll it's got to take a second because we're looking at the trade versions, all right? We're going super high quality.
That's what we're doing.
Zero says if Batman was like a TV series, there'd be material for about 20 seasons. Dude, more than this would be like a soap opera.
This would be 100 season, like never-ending Days of Our Lives or whatever else has been going for 100 years.
I mean, even if we just think about like the regular shows, you have like what, 4 of 66, 4 of the animated series, 4 of Gotham. Like, there's a lot. Oh, before I pull that up, just not New 52 related, but this blew my mind, my bro. Pennyworth. Do you remember that series or like its existence?
Yeah. Okay. Very brief, but yeah, I do remember it being a thing.
Final season is apparently a fucking prologue prelude story to V for Vendetta, with like V actually being a character. And then all of this is supposed to like, so that means at the same time V for Vendetta is happening, Gotham is happening. And it's like, I don't know how those two worlds can coexist, because the whole V for Vendetta thing is that like the world's been nuked. Oh, you want to go?
What? That doesn't make any damn sense at all.
It makes perfect sense once you realize that's what these TV shows do, right? A lot of the like prestige ones, it's about, remember this? I mean, look at Watchmen. That's all the Watchmen show was. But yeah, I learned that. I'm completely serious, Zero. Like, go look it up. It is wild. Like Guy Fawkes masks and everything. I genuinely feel bad for Alan Moore, right? It feels like they keep praying. It's like Lucy in the football. Like, Alan, look, we're going to like honor your work, right? Rorschach by Tom King. Oh, no, Alan, this time we're going to really honor your work. Like we've really, really got you.
Watchmen by Kurtzman.
Yep, Watchmen by Kurtzman.
Was it Kurtzman?
No, it was Lindelof.
No, it was Lindelof. Yeah, it was the other jackass.
And then Alan, come on, we're going to honor V for Vendetta. We're even going to give it a compact release. Just kidding. We only want to do that so we can promote Pennyworth. It's
oh my god,
beyond bizarre. But that's little wild. aside, let us jump over to the starting point of it all. Our Justice League book. Come on, where's that? There we go. Without all the trade dress. So, if you guys remember, going all the way back to September 2011, this was our stage setter. This was our big, here we come, here is the New 52.
It opens up telling us that these events took place 5 years ago.
Yeah, so we're doing a sort of flash forward, cold open type of thing, which in theory, so actually, how do we want to talk about this? I guess let's just run through it real quick and then we can talk about things, because I think at this point in pop culture, the New 52 story is pretty common to everybody. It is, it served as
the New 52 story is common to everybody because this is the one that keeps getting adapted.
That's
everywhere.
Exactly what I was going to hit.
This is the reason why the stupid ass Snyderverse kicked off with like trying to set up Doomsday right from jump.
Well, that's something
because they introduced Doomsday as the Justice League's first villain with the New 52, and it's like that's ridiculous. Why? And it's also why we get Vic as being constantly pushed as a Justice League member when Vic is supposed to be a Titan.
And like, I'll say that, I guess, like, to play devil's advocate, I would say if you wanted to use Vic, he works in this role for this story. I think the idea of him like being built of mother box parts and then all of a sudden, I can hear it. That's cool. But I would be way more better with that if this was like, Justice League issues 142 to 146, the mother box protocols, and he's the like guest star for that arc. You know what I mean? Like, starts out, they visit the Titans, and then all of a sudden it pings, and they're like, oh, Cyborg, let's investigate, and then blah, 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 blah. Setting him up as a starting supporting team member here, it's really weird. And it's so weird because this is definitely one of those cases, and we'll see it a lot, of one step forward, one step back. Because as you have talked about and you've been advocating, and we even asked Chuck about it, the Justice League should really be that premier ensemble, right? Like they're a mini series, they're whatever, that's your event book essentially, right? You don't have your flashpoints, your crises. It's like Justice League, and it's
just make the Justice League your annual event essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this sort of treats them in that way, but it just like, so it's like, oh, you're treating them with that sort of reverence. It's all the main people I would argue should probably be on a Justice League, because to me, Justice League is not just, it's like the Avengers is kind of everybody, right? Justice League is the fucking Justice, unless they're doing the United thing, right? But if you're on like the
or the Unlimited thing,
United, Unlimited, whichever one it happens to be, you got to do your Flash, Green Lantern, your Trinity, Aquaman, and then I guess I like Martian Manhunter on there because I was
gonna say, like, I want John Jones in there.
That's who I would always put as number 7. Swap in whoever you want in Hawkgirl's place. I don't really care about her. She worked in the show, not really that attached to her as a main character. So with this establishing everything, we'll get into it and let's see kind of where they went wrong. So very, very simple premise, as Andrew was getting into. It is the eve of Darkseid's invasion of Earth. He has successfully sent his parademons to Earth. They have been collecting mother boxes, drawing the attention of the Justice League, and Batman's encounter with one and the subsequent cross encounter of Green Lantern kind of kicks off the entire Justice League thing. From here, a mother box that they were investigating, detonates, it goes off, and they basically go, all right, we have no idea what it is. Let's team up. Let's figure this out. From there, we have Batman going like, all right, we got to go find Superman. And Superman's around, but the first thing he kind of does, we get a really weird Superman here, right? Because I know what they're going for. They're going for a younger Superman. But this, like the Justice League version of New 52 Superman, swings a little too hard into like the arrogant like he's like a Flash Thompson almost.
He's kind of a prick. Honestly, he's not a likable guy.
And it's
that's the problem. Had they just like aged him down, made him younger, fine. That's what we're doing here, right? With the New 52, right? These are all younger heroes in their careers. That's fine. I didn't even hate the suit, though I don't like that the belt is just straight red. I like having a little bit of gold in there. So I like when you make the little shield gold there instead, so it breaks up the red a little bit. So I don't hate this suit at all.
I don't hate the suit.
The fact is, it for classic Superman fans, and I get it, they hate it, right? And I love Superman. He's one of my first 2 DC heroes, but most classic Superman fans do not like the suit. But I would say if they had at least written Clark to be more like Clark,
bingo,
they would have forgiven or at least overlooked the issues that they may or may not have had with the suit, with the design, right? They got rid of the spit curl. Though that, from what I understand, that was actually a rights thing. Why they could not have they could not have the spit curl there for the New 52. Yeah. So
that's so interesting.
I'll have to go back and find where I saw that.
I'm
but
sure.
I remember reading into it and I was like, oh wow, like that makes sense, but like damn, they really decided they had to do a completely different character.
With Batman and Superman in particular, they are genuine rights nightmares. Like, right, like, I am in support of them being nightmares because it's for, you know, Bob Kane's family, fuck Bill Finger. It is for the Schuster family. Like, they're like, hey, we deserve this. Stop, you know, taking us for a run. So I'm in support of them having it, but that means every time something has to be done, they have to go to them, and they are hyper particular about, like, do not, like when Superman went into the public domain, the Schuster family was like, if we see the shield, right, like the diamond, we're gonna, like, you're dead. Like, we're gonna send our units on you. You can do the shield.
Contrary to popular belief, just because something goes into public domain, like Batman and Superman are going to here in the next 10 years or whatever, like specifically, was it Steamboat Willie, Mickey, and these other, you know, longtime iconic characters. One, it's the framework you actually are working with there is literally just that first appearance.
Yep.
So like with Superman on a paper level, you'd be talking his design from his original appearance in Action Comics, right? You'd be talking his power set and his origin, his characterization, his design in that original appearance. However, despite all of that, you could have the paperwork that says this is a public domain thing. Legally, it says that.
Yeah.
The people who still own the rights to the character overall are going to make your life an absolute nightmare.
It's
regardless,
it doesn't really bad.
And the fact is, those people have more money than you, so you're essentially just going to get a cease and desist anyway.
And they'll be nice. Yeah, they'll give you the cease and desist, and then you stop. But if you try, you're like, it's not even going into like the poorhouse with a barrel on you. Like, you will just like DC multiverse erase from existence. Like, I know how they'll do this. So it's funny to me because you're right? Like, a lot of people did not like this suit. They were really enraged, and it's weird.
I liked the suit. I just needed the gold on the buckle to break up the red a little bit.
Personally, like, I'm right there with your criticism. Like, that needs to be broken up more. I'm with I like the trunks. The classic thing, it kind of works.
To
me.
Like, I like how Supes looks now in current DC.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah,
like,
that it's completely perfect. With the gold belt buckle and everything, right? Like, that's great. Here, I do like the collar on his suit, and I do like.
Yeah, I
actually really like the extended arm thing. Like just down to. I really, really like that. I think, as we'll get into a little bit when we run over Superman, one of the bigger problems, and this is what happened for me, is the origin of this suit, right? Like, in Superman, as we'll see, he's fighting Brainiac, and he finds an old Kryptonian, like, regal suit in a glass case, and he grabs it and he puts it on. He's like, I'm Kryptonian, right? Like, pride. And then it, like, turns colors and it becomes Superman. So it's like, it's very Man of Steel-y. And so I can see where that gets weird about it. But I think overall, as an aesthetic, it's not bad. We have definitely seen.
It's not a bad design.
Worse.
It's just jarring for people that were used to the classic
Superman design, I also think, as much as we talk crap on it, I don't have all the new graphics back here. Hold on, I can add them really quick. But there are none of the there's none of those new 52 lines, or sorry, there are the new 52 lines, and I think that's the problem, is that they made it way more armory than he is normally supposed to be, and that I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I'm sure you, as another comic book creator, have also had these thoughts over in your head. But it's like, if you were to make a Superman character, like if we were to try and make a character right now who was the same level of, like, paragon that Superman was, to the, like, everybody believes in him. His name is like Superman, but it's not supreme. It's not Hyperion, where it sounds a little aggressive. And I try to think about, like, how would you lock in that character? And I think a lot of it is, look at that suit, right? Like, the underwear on the outside, the regular cloth, it's very human. It's very much, like, relatable to us. You put him in armor like this, like we were talking, he goes a little too Man of Steel. He goes a little too Kryptonian, and it gets a little worrying, if you will. Because then you're like, oh, are you going to be like in James Gunn's movie? Like, are you going to be the invader? Or are you going to be nothing? Oh man, the lines aren't showing up. That's too bad. I have in the background a bunch of New 52 lines. Like I made that a whole thing for the stream. Was like, oh, you can kind of they're slightly going in the back. I made them too light, but they're back there. I thought it was fun. There'll be a toggleable feature now for foil variant. We'll be able to put on our New 52 suit when we feel like it. But yeah, so we get our introduction of Superman, and this is probably where we'll spend the most time. Oh, not that page, this page. Because Superman's introduction, like you said, Andrew, is really weird because he's kind of just a giant dick.
Yeah, he's a big douchebag. And like they kick off the meeting of the Justice League with the already played out, all the heroes when they first meet, they have to fight people. They have to fight each other, right? And it's like, wait, this is how you're starting the entire line? You are setting the premise and the baseline for this Superman as he's a dick.
That's the big problem is I'm actually not opposed to the idea of like in a first meeting, I could see of these characters right here, I can see a clash happening, right? Especially with Diana being like, I don't know the world. And then with Green Lantern being so gung-ho. It's the Superman of it all where like he's taunting them, right? Like we saw right back here, Batman throws, I think, like a bat, or he throws like a batarang at him. He tries to gas him, and Superman just like rushes through and is like, I saw somebody with a bomb. Is that one of your friends? What are you trying to do? And it's like, what the hell?
You're kind of making him look stupid and like a dick.
And so in the Action Comics series, where Grant Morrison was in charge of rewriting Soup's origin, I can see how it was controversial, but I think a lot of people misread what it was. That Superman, it's the early career Superman. He's got like the jeans and the shirt or whatever, and like the basic cape. He's very aggressive in the sense that, like, for example, his the first page we see with him, he picks up like a corrupt business mandate, and he's like, he's ready to get, he's like threatening to drop him. He like freaks out, and then he's like, I've got this guy here. He's ready to give a confession. Yeah, but you should give it, like, bring somebody to give him a confession because it's not me, right? Like somebody who believes in justice, but it's not me. And it's like, what the heck? But if you keep reading a little more, Grant is really, really, really going back to the classic 1940s Superman, right? Like, I hear a woman getting beat, boom, I'm just going to blow in and be like, what are you doing, pal? That's not right. And so he comes off a little more aggressive, but he's not mean about it, right? Like, you can tell he's going after the bad guys. He still stops to help people. One of my favorite issues from that is it's actually the Zero issue, where it talks about, the first time Superman was actually seen out in public, and people are starting to see glimpses of him. He gets beaten, and he drops his cape, and a little kid, like, picks it up, goes home. He's got like an abusive stepfather who's drunk, beating his mom and his brothers, and he goes, no, and like he puts on the cape and it gives him the strength to like run away, and he's like really scared, and they make it to like a train yard, him and his brother, and the super abusive dad comes out, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna beat you, give me that, forget all that. And the kid tries to run away, a train starts coming at him, and he gets his foot like locked in the thing, and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Maybe the cape will save me because it's been indestructible so far. Superman lands right there, and he stops the train, but in sort of the telling moment, instead of like trying to like gently do it, he does the classic thing where he's just like bam, and it crushes everything or whatever, but he saves the kid, and he goes, thanks for taking care of that for me. That was like really important to me. And the kid goes like, what do I call you? And he just goes like, he like waves, and Lois names him Superman. And I'm like, that's him. Like, that's perfect. This is where, I don't know why, like, it's Jeff Johns, which is what's so weird. But he completely, okay, hold on. Do you have your sound correction thing on, Andrew?
I do.
Could you turn it off? I think I'm hearing myself in a loop.
Oh, hold on.
And that's why I'm like,
it turned up really, I don't know what happened, but
that's just what happens
all the way.
No worries.
How about now?
Yeah, now we're pretty good. I think I was slightly leaking out like that. But
yeah, I think you were hearing yourself through my headphones.
Okay, good.
When it's jacked all the way up.
And it's so weird though, because like they're really good headphones. Let me just put it that way. Like I can hear myself pretty damn clearly coming out of that. But yeah, so that's it's Jeff Johns, and it's really weird because we know Jeff Johns understands these characters. Where I've never seen anything from Johns or any indication that he would treat Superman as like, I don't know, just like a jerk. It's very, very weird. And like you said, this is what we're setting up everything as. This is like, here's the attitude of our new universe. And like Didio said, if Superman's not working, nothing else is. And so you get a really weird Superman here. We're already throwing everything off. Everything's already off kilter. So from there, yeah, we finally get to our favorite scene in this damn book, where Superman is still just trying to beat the hell out of Green Lantern, out of Batman. So Hal goes, hey, I need an assist. Barry, come help me out. Barry shows up, and we get this like cartoonish encounter where he's able to like Looney Tunes spin Clark and then like bat him really far away with like a Speed Force slap almost. And then they brawl, and he's doing the whole, you can't catch me, Superman. I've never been touched. And then Superman very easily, flicks him away.
I mean, the Justice League movie essentially just took this scene.
And it's, you know what, to that movie's credit, it is like the best scene in that movie when Clark like turns to see Barry, and Barry's like, oh, I'm dead. Like, this is over. It's the best. To me, it's the best scene. But where do we go from here? So from here, we just get a lot more of everybody team up, everybody run away. Let's meet Vic. Let's see the mother boxes go. And then, of course, all of a sudden, the invasion starts. All the parademons start launching into Earth, overrunning. Vic, gets damaged. I'm going to put that in solo real quick because, man, this is such a good Lee page. It's a Vic, like, burning up and transforming, like, this is peak Lee here. This is like all his Cyclops training was boiling down to this page right here. So from there, we get our Diana. And you and I were talking about this a little bit. She's another character who really suffers from like, what are we trying to do with her? Because they really lean into her being the fish out of water here, right? Like, I've never been to the world of man. What is this? Like, I think, she discovers ice cream for the first time. And she's like, wow, this is crazy. And then, we see a lot of like Steve Trevor being like, hey, we have to do this the right way. Like, you can't just run off. And she's like, but battle, shall we? Like, let's go. And I told Andrew, it's like, she's Batman, Brave and the Bold, Aquaman. And it doesn't make sense for Diana. Like, I think she's
like always looking for a fight in New 52. She's always looking for battle, which doesn't fit the character at all.
And always sort of like acting without thinking. Like, she doesn't consider like, maybe that's not a battle to join or something, right? Like, she's like a dumb bimbo version of our Wonder Woman almost. And it's very, very, very weird. Honestly, a good comparison that came through my mind is like, look at this Diana and look at Absolute Diana, because Absolute Diana is very much the same way.
A fish out of water, but she's
also battle ready, right?
She's extremely battle ready, but she's also incredibly gentle
and like always tries to talk, always tries to find understanding. She didn't, kill what's his name, Dr. Poison after she destroyed all the little spiders. Like, that's an understanding Diana. Here, this one just goes wild, and this is another one that's characterized super weird because once we get over to Brian Azzarello's Wonder Woman run, she's very much not a fish out of water. She's already like an established hero who's fine. I know this is 5 years in the past, but that's sort of, we'll get into it. It just gets weird. So from there, Diana joins the fight, yada, yada, yada. Lots of aura farming. Again, even if you, like, the story in this New 52 is kind of bad, but the art, man, like Lee showed up for this one.
Yeah, he showed up for this one for sure. He wasn't reusing the same 4 poses.
No, I don't see any of our poses. I'm genuinely surprised. It's just Jim Lee. Jim Lee, when he wants to show up, it's pretty incredible. But I do laugh, Andrew, because the second you open the next trade, it's like 2 guest artists for that Cheetah art.
Yeah.
And then Lee comes back for the first Throne of Atlantis, but it's one of those like he was rushed. You can like it's not pretty. And I'm just like, Lee, I think you and I said this the other week, but it's like he draws one thing and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love drawing comics. That's right. Let's do some more of this." And just completely forgets that he's not capable of it right now. He's got too much going on.
Deadlines are a thing.
Yeah.
You don't have the bandwidth for those anymore. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like this Wonder Woman. Oh, I'm not in Zoom. Like, it's amazing. Lee is the man when he wants to be the man. But in terms of story, we then get Aquaman showing up, who I really like this Aquaman because.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, this is consistently the same one in the New 52 Aquaman. Obviously, it's John's writing it, but I like this Aquaman as like, I'm king, I know it. Like right here, first line, they were in the water too. So who's in charge here? I vote me. Yeah, like that's pretty cool. That's pretty Arthur-y. And then everybody is like, why should we, pick you?
Back up.
Oh yeah,
One of my favorite panels in this is one more. There, bottom right. I freaking love that where he's talking trash about Batman, but not to his face, but he has his ring create
like the arrow
pointing to him. Like I laughed at that.
I
laughed at it the first time I saw it, and I laughed at it when I reread it.
I do very much enjoy the little relation, like the friendship between Hal and Barry. I think Johns does know how to play it well, and so you do get these moments like where he's like, oh, because the whole thing here is like Batman's like, okay, Lantern, go give a distraction. And he's like, oh, you just want me to go off so you can have all the glory. Like, what are we doing here? And Barry's like, well, but you are shiny. And he's like,
yeah, you're big and shiny.
And Hal's like, shut up. You're supposed to be on my side. Like, shut up. All right. Like, Hal really works in. I like this Hal. I think this is the proper
it works as a young Hal for
exactly.
sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So from there, let's go back to how I had everything laid out before. Why are we so zoomed in? Yeah. And then right here where Hal's like, oh, you want to be in charge? What can you do? And he just like summons a fleet of sharks to eat a bunch of parademons.
Pretty dope. And that is not a great white. That's a freaking megalodon.
That's a megalodon. I know. It's that is awesome. Not a great white.
Like that thing is huge.
Johns did so well with Aquaman. I don't think he's one of the characters that benefited the most from this New 52 was Aquaman. So
best the character's probably ever been.
Yeah.
The closest is honestly Jeremy Adams. Because Jeremy Adams' run has been great.
Except for that rushed ending, and that's not on him.
Yeah,
it's not on him.
Yeah, that's an editorial like, hey, we got to tie this into DCKO and all.
But it's sort of like I would be right there with you that this was like on New 52 level if we'd have gotten a proper play out of that. Because it's such a bummer. But yeah, so from there, now we are in the throes of the fight. It's a lot of action. It's a lot of what do we do? Save the civilians, yada yada yada, until the final page where we finally get our bad guy. We get Darkseid himself is on planet to invade Earth. And so you talked about this before. You and I have brought this up before. This is quite possibly the biggest stumbling block of the entire New 52 universe here, which is you've just essentially said our first bad guy is like God. It's like Satan. Where do you go from there? And because you have the like Darkseid, the ruler of all nothingness, Mr. Anti-Life, and then as we go through again,
this is the final Crisis villain, guys.
This is the one that Batman had to like sacrifice himself and break his oath to use a gun to defeat. This is what Superman had to get all the Omega energy to beat. And how do we beat him here? We just get and again, now I'm just running through the art, guys, because it's a lot of just fighting, teaming up, very basic stuff, nothing to really go over. All the Lee art is great. This is coming out in a compact in a couple weeks, so go check that out. Look at the Lee art in your hands. It'll inspire you, like genuinely. One of my favorite shots right here, even if the story is kind of stupid, of Superman like double punching Darkseid the hell out of here. But this is how we beat Darkseid, right? Is they do the everybody pour on your powers at once, and they push him back through the boom tube, and they're like successful. So what is the point? Like, if he ever shows up again, why should we be scared? We have the amateur, never worked together Justice League emerging victorious. And so where do we go from here? And that's where, a story about the Cheetah Curse, a story about Orm versus Aquaman, which it was good, but it's like that is not what you follow Darkseid with.
You just you set your like threat level up here to start with, and then you went down drastically for several arcs until we get to like Darkseid War, because then we got back up to Darkseid.
But then Darkseid War is technically all centered around like Darkseid's weak, right? Like the Darkseid baby and everything. So it's like, it's not even, that would have made more sense here. Like if this story was about, you know, Granny Goodness and Desaad and what, like a strike force.
Or
trying
even
to get
I guess,
or what's his name?
And this is not me giving credit to Snyder.
I know,
but like
the fucking metal. That's his name. Yeah, Steppenwolf. Any of those guys, have them launch just like an invasion of Earth. Oh, yeah, honestly, like Snyder did it right. He adapted this right, where it's like they were the strike force. You see Darkseid, and he's like, oh, now you have my attention. And then, okay, that's something for another day.
But just
you don't
starting it with Darkseid, he actually is here. That's like, man.
And the crazy thing is,
you blew your load right on page 1.
They don't. Johns doesn't explain why he's here.
No.
He just fucking shows up.
There's no reason for it.
It like, it's a mystery, but without any of like, why is the mystery in motion?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why.
Isn't he's looking for his daughter? Isn't that what it is?
That's what we get later, though. Grail's not a thing here. I'm pretty sure
but it's mentioned. It's mentioned in the trade. It's mentioned in the trade that that they're looking for Grail, but that's like it's a blink and you miss it, like one line drop, and that's it.
I'm like genuinely, because who does he talk? Who says it to him?
I think it's when Superman is captured and he's being held inside.
Okay, in the tower. Let's see. So that's a little later. That's back here. No, it's before. Wow. The movie throws this thing all out of order, so I'm like completely don't know.
Oh yeah,
where
the animated adaptation.
Yeah. Where I got all the clips. Darkseid's here.
It's on this page.
Soups.
So you're almost there.
Oh, I am almost there. Where is that?
You skipped it, I think.
Wonder Woman with her lasso. No, I don't think I'm there yet. Oh, it's right here. Okay, here it is.
Yep.
You're right. Do not acknowledge pleasure, Desaad. It is forbidden. The Kryptonian was not brought here for you. He was brought here to become a new breed of soldier, one who will prove vital in the search for the daughter of Darkseid. Our master will not stop until she is found, Steppenwolf, then neither shall we. All hail Darkseid. Okay.
So they came to Earth for the Kryptonian so they could use the Kryptonian in their search to find Darkseid. Like that, I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot of circular.
I was gonna say that's super convoluted.
For this first plot, that's something you build towards.
Well, because then I go, Andrew. I go, what the hell was the point of all the mother box subterfuge? Like, why didn't you just go to the Kryptonian? It's right there, Darkseid. You could have just done that. So with that, I still think this moment is cute, where like they're all together.
Throwback to the original Justice League of America
cover.
You know.
Yeah. Like I love that, and then I also love. Yeah, I love that bit, like the Super 7, and everybody's like, I absolutely not. Like we are not.
You don't get to name anything. Yeah.
Definitely also laugh at the fact that just dating the book. George Bush is apparently still president. Like that makes me laugh really hard. But so do we want to go into the Cheetah stuff? I don't know if we really need to go into the next arcs. I think we have what we need of our Justice League to analyze it right here. Andrew, I've been babbling. What are your general thoughts on what they tried here on this story? All of that fun stuff.
I think it was an interesting idea that was poorly executed for a number of reasons, because you had drastic mischaracterizations that were very off-putting. You can play around with characters a little bit. You get a little bit of wiggle room, right? Like in the case of Barry, it's like that's not really classic Barry. They kind of fudged it a little bit. They played with it, and it's like
they fused him with Wally a little bit.
Yeah, they put in a little bit of Wally in there, and they put a little bit of Jay in there. But
definitely,
fine, whatever. Hal, they left more or less just like a younger Hal. They didn't really do anything with them in terms of different.
Pretty easy, yeah.
And same thing with Batman. Right?
Batman's pretty straightforward.
He's more or less Batman that I think most current readers at the time were already more or less used to.
I think the weirdest
with
Batman moment, though, just not to interrupt you, is like when Hal's like, "You're not just a guy in a suit, right?" And he like turns around and like smirks at him.
Yeah, it's like, why are you smiling? You don't.
It's like
smile.
that's not. Batman would just keep walking. He would just be like, "That's right, let's go."
That would be a Dick Grayson thing. Dick Grayson.
Oh, he definitely would do that.
That's the entire reason why they were able to tell that it wasn't actually the original Batman in the cowl,
yes.
right?
Yep.
Smiling.
I forget who it was. Somebody knows that it's like Dick's butt is not Bruce's butt. That's all I remember. They're like, "Oh, it's Barbara. It's Barbara." She's like, "Of course I know whose butt would be in those tights." And I'm like, "Okay,
wow,
I'm good with that one. That one works."
I guess I respect that. There's logic
right.
there. But the mischaracterization of the other two members of the Trinity, Superman and Wonder Woman, that's extremely off-putting in this story. And then again, them jumping the gun and having Darkseid be their first encounter is just that's too much for me.
Yeah,
again,
no, it's absolutely too much.
Even do Steppenwolf, and honestly, even Steppenwolf, like theoretically, should be above their pay grade at a first meeting. Like if they are brand new heroes, right? Then that should be above their pay grade. But okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's the thing we don't get, right? Is we don't get them defeated. Like, think of an average team movie. They all team up. Maybe they win that first fight. They try it again. Ass is kicked. Everybody goes, "What do we do? I don't know." Okay, we remember the Avengers, right? They fight. Who's the first fight they all go up against? I forget. It's like, they go. Is it Loki, right? In Germany, that they all like team up and like try to go stop. Yeah. So they go there. Oh, how great! Black Widow and Thor and all, but we all work together and we got Loki. Then Loki manipulates everything and Hulk goes on a rampage. And then, the staff is putting everybody against everybody in the helicarrier until helicarrier gets sabotaged. Then, Fury goes, "Coulson died. Look at these cards." And everybody goes, "Okay, we got to take this seriously." And then they team up and now you win.
Yeah.
We don't have that here. It's just a collective, everything that keeps getting added is just a hat on a hat on a hat. 'Cause it's like, we're already winning and then we're going to win and we're going to win more, right? Like, we have a Green Lantern and Batman. And now we have Superman. And now we have an Amazon. And now we have the Speed Force. And now we have King of Atlantis. It's like, is anybody going to lose at any point? Like, somebody get their asses kicked?
Very briefly, like in one scene. And it's like...
And then they go regroup.
They regroup and then...
In the field,
they beat Darkseid.
That's the thing. It's like, they don't break away and have to go like the talk on the farm. They're just like, okay, take a breather. Okay, let's go. Like, let's go get them. I will say, this is very much John's Mr. Silver Age, Golden Age. I do like that the first, like, Justice League HQ is the defunct printing press of, like, the old Daily Stars. So I'm like, it's a little, like, you're really pushing it with, like, remember comic books, guys?
Yeah. Hey,
but
you remember comic books?
Yeah,
and all the people
I'm like,
that are, like, twice and a half as older as you and I. I remember that.
What's a printing press? But I'm like, you know what? I'll allow it. And then I think it's in Throne of Atlantis. I think Hal or Barry is like, are we really going to keep like hanging here? Can't we get somewhere with chairs? And I'm like, I'm good with that. I'm cool with all of that. But so Justice League, I can't even think of another moment of this New 52 run where, like, I can't remember anything else. It's Throne of Atlantis, and then it's like, what did they do? What other storylines? I go to Darkseid War, where we get all the cool evil forms. That's right, Forever Evil, which was a mess of a story. Forever Evil is the Infinite Crisis planning meetings blown out into an event. You know what I mean? It's like, let's all kill Dick Grayson. We're going to kill Dick. We're going to kill Dick. We're going to kill... Nope. Last minute, we're not going to kill Dick. And it's like, all right, why did we do any of this? We don't need to be here. But, all right, so that's Justice League. With that, we have been set up to have a more Hollywood, a more blockbuster, a little more of a dumb Justice League, if you will, right? And it's really telling, I guess. Like, I read this and I'm like, this is just beat for fucking beat the, like, Snyderverse. But this was in development before the Snyderverse. And like, so part of me is like, was the Snyderverse an organic, completely thing from Zack? Or was it like, you got to do something here? You like, here's the shit to read. Because we know Zack actually read other stuff, right? Like he knows Dark Knight Returns. He knows Nightfall. Like he knows stuff. It's weird to me that he would just go straight for, let's adapt from the New 52 Justice League book. And it's only Justice League. It's not from anybody else, as we will see now. All right, so with Justice League off our plate, let's run through Superman and Wonder Woman really quick just to look at where they were. And then let's get into some Court of Owls and then maybe touch on everything else. Subhuman says, yep, who wrote Justice League? It was Jeff Johns. That's when he was like the biggest superstar in the world over there. Like he was really rocking it. That's why like Green Lantern got to survive, because he was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not resetting. And they were like, okay, fine. Like we'll let you have it. And Grant, because Grant's making us money.
And it only worked because like Lantern was basically off world for that entire run.
which is pretty great. I was a big fan of it. But so with that hint of the dickish soup that we were talking about, he's probably one of the more controversial characters we got out of here, as I was touching upon before. We have Mr. Magic Wizard Man. He comes in, Grant Morrison, and he is taking Superman back to his basics. Like I said, it's very much the 1940s Superman. He's still running. He's leaping over buildings in a single bound. He's very, vigilante. Like, see right here? He goes, sure, officer, I'll put him down just as soon as he makes a full confession to someone who still believes the law works the same for rich and poor alike, because that ain't Superman, right? And it's like, that is Superman. The difference here is like, he's still a good guy here. He's not just like, oh, the law's not going to work for anybody. Who cares, right? He's like, prove to me that the law works the same. He's doing it. It's like a teenager, right? He's being really ostentatious for no reason, but he's at least doing what he says, even if he's being a little over it's like, bring it down a notch, Superman. Bring it down a notch.
Dial it back a bit.
So this first run is, I thought it was really, really fun. I mean, he brought back the blimps to Metropolis. Superman literally escapes from a fight by like hitching a ride on a blimp. There's he's living in a tenement housing type thing. This series to me, okay, how do I put this? It's so confusing because you start the series and you're like, okay, I see the 1940s, I see that throwback, but this is also like very cheesy in what we do. Like this whole first part is pretty great. Then we get into, he gets captured by Lex. They try to do experiments on him. He's, laughing it all off and everything. And it's pretty great. But
that's Gary Frank on some of those lines.
It is Frank on some of those lines. Yeah, he did show up to do
the art kind of jumped all over the place.
It does.
But when Gary Frank was on it,
it's Rags Morales, who I'm like, wow, good for you. But then Gary Frank helps out at times. You can definitely tell it. But this is where, so that's the whole first arc is Superman appears. He gets captured by Lex. They try to experiment on him. He breaks out and all the humans go like, oh, there's more here than we thought. And we learn that Lex is working with Brainiac, right? To stop the Kryptonian, to get him out of here. And so we immediately launch into our, Brainiac story. And, you have Metallo going like, oh, I'll help save the world against Brainiac if you like do the experiment on me. And then Brainiac hacks him. So he kind of like becomes his avatar. And this stuff is sort of working until you get into like, so, Brainiac domes Metropolis, shrinks it. Cool, I'm adding it to the collection. And that's where Superman's like, I don't know. This is like the biggest thing I've ever faced. Let's try. This is where it starts getting weird because he just starts like running through what it means to be Superman. We get this really awesome moment of like, he puts on like an oxygen tank and he runs and gets a running start and shoots up into the atmosphere to get to the Brainiac satellite. And then you're on here and, he just starts being like himself, right? Like, I won't choose life. Everybody's under my protection. And he grabs his super suit and he's just like, yeah, this is me now. Like, I'm ready to go. And you can tell, like, I think Grant got a little hamstringed here by, like, you have to reintroduce all of the, like, you know, make everybody remember the character, essentially, like, hit those basics. But he's like, those basics are really boring. Like, we've been here 4,000 times before. So it really, it's really disappointing once we get down here into, like, the Krypton mythology and everything. For example, whoops, I hit the wrong button. In a very classic, you know, Grant moment, all these backup stories, I don't care about you. It is right. Yeah, so right here, over there on the right, or no, oh, I didn't have the zoom up. So right there, right page, panel 4, the whole fight to this thing ends because he, you know, Brainiac has shrunk Metropolis, and in Metropolis was his spaceship. It was being experimented on. So he picks it up and he goes like, here's the problem. You forgot that this is bulletproof too. And he goes, are you faster than a speeding bullet? And he like shoots it at him. And I'm like, I get what you're doing here, but it just feels too it just feels too cheesy. It just doesn't feel.
It doesn't
right.
fit
like,
the tone of the rest.
Yeah,
of the book.
that's
definitely
there you
doesn't
go.
fit the tone of the rest of the line at this point.
Because this is very much like his all-star, like the more fantastical end of it. Like you can feel that, and it's like that's not what we're supposed to be doing here. So okay. So how do I want to like wrap this up really fast? Because I do want to shout out, there is a really cute, like, or like a really good, like heartwarming kind of character in this run that I'm sad we don't really see more of. And it's very archetypical, but Clark has a, where is the page? Oh yeah. He has a landlady, right? And obviously, you know, pays her rent, yada, yada. He's always late, yada, 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 yada. Clark comes under suspicion by like the DEO. They come to raid him. As they like break into his house, he's still like sleeping in his cape. So he's like, oh, I gotta like hide it. He hides it. They bust in. As they are, you know, looking through his stuff over there on the right page, panel 3, you can see his landlord comes in and like takes his Superman suit out of like the bag. So they open it up and they're like, nothing's in here. And then she just goes like, well, what do you know? You're from outer space. And I'm like, again, you and I have seen that character 4 million times before. Like an archetypal, just like, I got your identity, don't worry. But
yeah,
I like it. I really like those kind of characters.
I like those types of characters.
Yeah.
When they're used properly, those types of characters are very endearing.
And then like, of course, in classic Grant Morrison fashion, like Clark calls her like Mrs. N the entire time. And then we learn later on, it's like, oh, I've never caught how to actually pronounce your last name. And she's like, it's Nixel, and she's like a 5th dimensional imp or something. And I'm like, Grant, you can never help yourself, can you? You just can never help yourself.
He's just being himself. That's what it is.
But like, it's to that point where, oh yeah, and then we get Adam Kubert in a really random like Legion of Superheroes story where I could not even tell you exactly everything that went on because it would take forever because it's Grant Morrison, right? So, interest of time, maybe we'll hit that some other day. But I did want to bring up, before we jump off the Superman of it all, I wanted to laugh with you about Volume 2, right? Because we start off with a pretty okay story. You can see where Grant's getting a little antsy to be himself. We immediately start off Volume 2 with a return to Calvin Ellis and the miracle machine that they made at the end of Final Crisis that Superman like whistled into and like beat what's his name. And I'm just like, you were waiting, like how badly did like DC have to like lock you into your office, Grant? Like what, how, I just know you wanted to do this from the start. Like it's so, because like, okay, so at first I'm like, oh, multiverse with that machine, it's Grant Morrison-y, but this can, like, it's not full Grant yet, right? Then we get here and, you know, Calvin Ellis is like, what? We got somebody coming through a portal. Oh my God, there's other worlds. And on this other world, we discover that Lois, Clark, and Jimmy basically like we're interfacing with technology and magic. And for those who don't know, there's this thing in like occultism called like a tulpa, which is basically like a thought made real that you can, you know, if I wanted a floating Pikachu to like follow me around everywhere, I can do things mentally or whatever to make one that I can see following me around and like it's real. So they make a tulpa that is supposed to be all good, all everything, right? And they accidentally contact another world that's like so beautiful. It teaches them, you know, here's how you should govern, here's morality. But then the portal ends and they're like, we need funding to get back to there to make humanity better. What do? They, you know, they start taking their thing out, pitching it to different corporations. But of course, corporations being corporations, they abuse it and they take what the machine makes, the idea it gives them, and turn it into like a brand, an authoritarian identity where Superman is just like, you evoke him and you can do whatever, right? So it's like the old, yeah, it's a freedom demon essentially, but that freedom means like it wants to kill everything. And I'm just like, I love this, but Grant, what are we doing? Like, this is the new, you're supposed to be bringing people in. You're going a little too hard here at the very, very beginning. But, yeah, I just like that. I just wanted to laugh about that because I was like, Grant, you just can't help yourself. Oh, and then of course,
he
like,
really can't.
The first original villain is this guy who comes back from Earth, and he's like, I am one of 5 new humans who have like different multiversal perceptions, and we must leave this planet. And he tries to like take Lois's niece, who is one of those people, and it's just like,
freaking Grant.
What are we exactly? Freaking Grant. Like I'm sitting over here, I'm like, I love this. I don't know how I'm supposed to talk about this on our like retrospective. Like I just do not. Yeah, Subhuman says, I didn't care much for 52 action or Superman. Couple of good stories, but that's it. So that's the other angle I wanted to bring up for this really quick, which is the Superman of it all. Where is my Superman trade? Do I not have it here? There we are. Is that you? Yes, that's you. So this is another one of those things where the New 52 breaks down. For me, on my end, you know, I love Grant Morrison. That story works, yada, 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 yada. At the same time that they were doing that book, they were doing Superman. But the problem was DC was on a strict like schedule where it was like Action Comics is taking place 5 years ago. Superman is taking place now. And George Perez was like, okay, I have a story I want to write. Can I do it? And they were like, no, because you need to make sure this all fits within the 5 year time. It got so bad that Perez had to leave. He was like, I can't write this. But then if you open up this book and you read it, it's George Perez is the man. We can never like, he's done so much for comics, from Crisis to the Titans. His take on Superman is so amateurish, and it's really concerning. Like, he goes up against energy aliens, okay, and then he has all of this text you see here. He frames his narration as like it's an article that Clark wrote about what's happening. But but I read it and I'm like,
Clark know half of the stuff that's happening.
Well, that, but also like you read it and you're like, this is not a good article. Like, no, for example, flying faster than a speeding bullet, the Man of Steel raced past the fiery comet, tearing off a metal billboard from one of the city's rooftops, one large enough to use as a shield. However, as the giant placard started to be consumed in flames, Superman noticed yet another unusual characteristic of this alien fire. The billboard wasn't actually set on fire, it was becoming fire. And it's like, that's a story. And yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't read like a news article. It reads like you're writing a novel or something, right? Or like a movie script. So
yeah,
it just, this whole series was pretty unfun for me to like go through. This is also, as I brought up here, where George Perez introduced like the Lois cucking Superman stuff. And it's just unnecessary. Like it just completely, you can have her dating other people. You don't need this scene of like Clark tries to like go talk to her at her house and the guy's over and he's like, what's up, babe? You know, let's just, what are we doing? This is not our, it's weird.
Necessary.
It's really,
I've never been a fan of that type of a scene in any capacity, really. Cause like, what was it? A couple of years back, DC did that same thing, but it was the reverse, right? So it was Barbara showing up at Dick's place and Corey was over, right?
Oh yeah, and she's like, oh, here's the wedding invitation or whatever.
Either.
Yeah.
And
that was,
and even on top of that, I prefer Dick with Corey.
Yeah.
Even, but like it's still, I don't know. Those types of scenes just feel like you're just trying to be mean.
They feel extremely forced, right? Yeah, and trying to be mean. Like, I try to put myself in that scenario, right? If I was dating a girl she, you know, knock on the door, it's a guy we know likes her or an ex.
Yeah.
If it's not a like super hostile relationship or anything, like I'll do my best to like stay out of the way to not just inflame things, right? So
Yeah.
for I don't know, it just feels really, really weird. It was not a lot of fun to read, and definitely go for the Grant Morrison of it all. Like that's I know why you had 2 Superman books. It just wasn't working for you guys. Like you should have just stuck with Grant's. Okay. Next up, and this one's going to be super like quick to go through because there isn't really a lot to touch on here, is Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang's Wonder Woman run. So if you guys, anybody read it, or I guess, that was a bad setup. For a recap, this whole...
You can get it for $10.
You can get it for $10. It's really, I really like this story. It is very YA-y. I realized upon rereading
it is very young.
Yeah, adult, right? Yeah. Like, so the whole premise is it's about Zeus got a young woman pregnant in our world, and it's sort of like how the gods interact in our world, like modernized Greek god type of thing, like a Percy Jackson almost. And like, I think that works for a Wonder Woman, especially for like a new 52-ish type of story here. I really, really liked that Zola character, like the pregnant girl.
Yeah.
And I'm really sad like she's just gone now. She got referenced in like New History, I think. And I was like, oh, somebody remembered she lived. But yeah, so like it's a good story. It's very YA. Like that's just probably the best thing I can, or like the worst thing I can, or like the best way to frame that criticism is you'll enjoy it, but you'll definitely see like if it had come out like 2 years later, this would have been all Tumblr was about. Right? Like they'd be loving, like, oh, it's Diogenes and it's Athena and it's yada, 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 yada. Oh, look, he uses like dual pistols and stuff. And it's like, okay, that's pretty fun. Right? So, and of course, Chang just killed it on the art in the series. It's almost like Hayden Sherman's art, but less like
a little bit
Greeky. You know what I mean?
Bit, yeah.
Like it's more,
and it has
almost like Amanda
YA visual.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right.
That was kind of deliberate, I think, is what they were aiming for there. But the storytelling was still solid. And Diana, I guess her characterization was better in this than it was in Justice League.
And that's the thing. Yeah, she's way more absolute-y here. Like she's like tricking gods, and she's like striking bargains, and she's one of the running gags is she always tells Zola, like, stay close to me. And then when she's off, she's like, what did I tell you? And, you know, it's playful. It's not, I'm dumb, I've never been here before. Yeah. Right? Like we all know those people who, like, if they come over to a party or whatever at a friend's house and you tell them, like, there are rules, like be on your best behavior or whatever, and they just, like, wild out. You're like, what are you doing? Like, this is so immature. That's what Diana's kind of like in Justice League. So, to Didio's point, Superman was half okay, except for the Perez stuff. Wonder Woman, pretty solid for what it was. Unfortunately, after the like Chang run, or after Chang and Azzarello, it didn't they didn't pick up on it. It just kind of became a generic Wonder Woman book, and it wasn't that fun.
But it just became another notch on the board of Wonder Woman doesn't have many good stories. That's unfortunately kind of what it came down to, which has been the case for most of her publishing history. And less we're talking Perez.
Yeah, actually. And yeah, why did you put Perez over there? I guess it's maybe because he's already done it or whatever. But
yeah, he probably was like, been there, done that type of a thing, right?
Yeah.
What other stories do I have to tell? Kind of like what Mark Waid's position on Flash was for a little while there.
For a little while before he had to come in and not really rescue it. I don't know what you want to call it, but
he like I don't even know what we would really classify that as.
He made you and I slightly excited to read 3 issues.
We were excited for like 5 issues, the 5 issues that he was writing.
So before we jump over to Batman, I just wanted to ask, this is probably one of the bigger swings they did in the New 52. Batman or Superman and Wonder Woman being a couple. I just wanted to hit it. Andrew, what are your thoughts? And that's the show, everybody.
It's ass. I'm sorry. I know there are people out there who love this pairing. I'm sorry. No. Superman loves Lois Lane. Lois Lane loves Superman. Lois Lane loves Clark Kent. This is a thing. I don't care what your reasoning is. It's not good enough.
It really isn't.
This doesn't work. The only time Diana works with another member of the Justice League, arguably, is in the Justice League Unlimited TV
That's
series.
right. That's right. My Wonder Bats. That's right.
And that's the only one. And ironically enough, we talk about our buddy Aaron Sparrow all the time.
Yeah, Aaron.
He actually had pitched a comic book that was Batman. It was
Bruce
that's right.
and
Diana on a date.
And
it was within continuity of the Justice League Unlimited.
And Aaron shared it. It's actually a really good story. Like it would have been
actually really good. It was like, why didn't they let you do this?
Right?
Like, this is if Batman, I'm actually fine with Batman not being with anybody personally.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't want him with Selena.
No, doesn't work.
Find somebody else. Like I don't care. Well, okay, not anybody else, because they also tried the stupid Barbara crap, which was incredibly uncomfortable and weird. That was the strangest.
I'm not even this kind of person.
I don't think anybody defends that.
I'm not even this kind of person, but like I want an apology. You know what I mean? Like I feel like as a Batman fan, I was so insulted by that movie. Like you guys owe us. Like I hate you guys for that one. Like it's really, really bad. But so I'm right there with you. I only wanted to bring it up because I knew your reaction would be great. This is a really bad pairing. I think it could have worked if you did it in the sense of like, we all knew this was just like a stepping stone to Lois, right? Like that's how they were setting it up. They didn't do that.
That's what they did in one of the animated movies.
Yep.
That was taking place during the New 52 era, which that I was like fine with, because they basically played it as like they had a brief fling.
Oh, it's Death of Superman. That's where it all goes down.
The Death of Superman one, yeah. And I'm like, all right, but we are acknowledging that Superman loves Lois Lane, right? And Lois Lane loves Superman. Like this is
you had a comic that went over for 100 issues. I hope it happens again, but it was called.
Yeah, like I don't care about your ex. This is the person you're actually with, right? And destined to be with. Like that's
bingo.
All right, as long as we're acknowledging that, right?
But they didn't. They were like,
in
this
the comics,
is it.
They didn't.
I'm
sorry. This is never going to be the standard.
You want to know?
It never should be.
A good version of this pairing and like execution, Spider-Man and Carol Danvers, right? They were both on the same team. They both realized, we actually do have some chemistry. We like each other. But then they both realized, like, we're actually way too different. Like, this just not going to work.
We're not right for each other, but like we had this fun flirty thing for whatever 5 minutes, right?
Exactly. Like that. I could be okay. I still don't like that with Bruce and Diana. Soups and Diana, but I'll be okay.
Check it out.
Right, exactly. I'd be like, okay, show me what you're doing, even though I know Lois is the end game here. Like, abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah. But, as you guys might have seen a second ago, as I was previewing before I decided to make all of our days a little bit worse, there is one member of the Trinity we have not covered yet, which arguably the winner of all of this, Batman. With
Batman kind of came out on top in the New 52. He had multiple good series, like varying levels of good. The main Bat book for most of it was like really good. It's one of the gems of the line, right? It's one of the gems of the New 52.
I know you don't like Mr. Bloom, but like I do, you don't. But I think we can both agree it takes until Mr. Bloom for it to start his run to start losing gas, which is like 45 issues, like 50 issues in. It's crazy how long Snyder went on this, and it was all consistently good and like building on everything, right? So this is another one of those ones that really redefined the Batman for the new era, if you will, because not only it does a little bit, I noticed, of the fraction-y thing where he hits the greatest hit samples, but he doesn't like focus on it like Fraction does, where he's like, the gadgets and this is my villain or whatever. Like he's going like, this is Batman. You remember Batman, right? There's his villains. There's his cave. Let's get going. And I'm like, okay, I can appreciate that because yes, we do know who freaking Batman is, right? We don't need to go over this. Yeah. But as you guys all probably know or all remember, this was the series that introduced the Court of Owls into the Batman lore, which since has gone on to be like,
it's one of the greatest additions to
it
Batman lore
really,
in the character's history.
is. And it's kind of, I'm always still in awe of how they pulled it off, because you and I talk all the time. This is a retroactive over like, or a retroactive omniscient villain group, right? Like, they are an Illuminati. They are controlling everything. And yet they still, like, Snyder still managed to make it believable that we didn't see them, or that they didn't know Bruce was Batman, or any of that stuff. So you get taken down this really, really, really good mystery. Honestly, like, that's what it feels like to me. Is
it's
Snyder
a fantastic mystery / detective story.
Snyder abandons that Bat God stuff for, let's go back to, maybe not, like, it is a mystery, but it's maybe not as detective-y as Fraction, but he brings Batman down to, like, that
Fraction
human level.
Definitely leans way more into the,
because Fraction's like, okay, I'm gonna analyze, like, I've got the panel of, like, a or a magnifying glass, and Snyder's just gonna be like, I looked it up earlier, it's this fiber, and it's like, okay, that works. Just different styles, just different styles.
Yeah.
And of course, Greg Capullo here, an amazing choice for Gotham, right? Like, Gotham is one of those cities that it has a personality. So you got to have the right artist. It can't just be like a dark New York. It has to be dank and sort of like dreary, and like the green colors and the yellow and the shadow stuff that Capullo always does. I don't know what he was doing before this book, but like, I got to see, because I want to see like what made DC go like, oh yeah, we're not going to do the dumb thing. We're going to do the smart thing this time, and we're going to lock Capullo.
He clearly drew upon, his Spawn stuff.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was on Spawn. But you know what? He did the thing. He doesn't do what other Spawn artists do, which is like, he goes to Batman and then they keep drawing his cape all shredded and alive. Like, and I like that to an extent. Like,
doesn't have a living cape.
Kelly Jones does it okay. Like right, where it's just like really curled up. A lot of people do living cape, and I'm like, it makes Batman less cool.
I will admit, I like the couple of times that McFarlane has drawn Batman's cape as well.
Well, that's
he
McFarlane.
Kind of goes a little wild with it.
Well, but that's also like, it's wild, but you can still see like the cloth, like it's still a cape. It's not like whoosh, black ambiance or whatever.
It's like, okay,
right? Yeah, but then so
tell me you really just wanted to draw Spawn without telling me you really just wanted to draw Spawn.
I mean, there was Batman Spawn like the year after that he did like a cover and a story for. So I'm like, I see what you were doing there. But oh yeah, look at Superman. He's not even into it, about the Superman Wonder Woman kiss. None of it ever feels like he's into it. Like, it very much feels just like, oh, you're around. All right, I'm bored. Like, we'll make out. Like, let's go for it.
I never once was invested or believed in it.
Never, absolutely never. And I always just like, it always felt, it's one of those moves that I always hate, where it's like, pop culture has some interpretation of a character that they mistakenly grabbed off of like several sources. And then somebody at these companies like canonizes that. And I'm like, why did you do that?
Yeah,
then,
canonize somebody's crappy fan fiction.
Exactly. Because then, that makes it harder for us, where we're like, well, look at the comics. Well, it's in the comics. Yes, but those comics are bad. And it's just like, I always get like really, really tired of it. But yeah, with the Court of Owls, we get, especially this whole part in the maze, like genuinely feeling like Batman is done here. Like, it's actually confining. And then Snyder does this thing where he turns the pages and he just starts like 2-page spread Batman's descent into madness, until you have to flip the book upside down to finish it. And I'm just like,
which is wild.
Which is so, and it's the whole Batman's world is turned upside down. He doesn't know anymore. And I love this kind of stuff when you can play with the medium with the book like that. Like, this is,
I'm subscribed to Scott Snyder's Substack.
His Substack.
And every single time he talks about Court of Owls, he talks about what his intent was, which is Bruce is in a place where he thinks nobody understands Gotham better than I do. I know everything there is to know about this. And so the premise for the story is to take that idea and show Bruce how wrong he is.
Right, like there's always somebody who is better than you. Like, there's somebody who will know more than you. right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's meant to be a drastic learning experience for
and
Bruce, to teach him a little bit of humility, like, no, you do not know everything about this city. In fact, there's a great deal that you do not know.
and like you think you're in control, you think this is Batman City, we're just letting you be here, right? Like
Yeah.
like you are, it's our permission that you're still around. But of course, you know, Bats goes into it, he eventually breaks his way out. I don't really need to recap the Court of Owls story because I think at this point we all really know how it plays out.
If you haven't read the Court of Owls story, you need to read the Court of Owls story.
That's all I'll say right now is like, stop listening,
that's
stop
the
watching.
byline there.
I will. Is it? Oh, so did you read the second volume?
You can get it for. That's hush. You can get it for $10.
And it's
We're not sponsored by DC.
We are not.
Compacts, but we probably should be with how many times
at
we
this
tell
point,
people
like,
to buy them.
I'll get it I'll get the Compact logo tattooed on me. Like, I love these things. Like, that's how much I support them. Obviously, I just wanted to highlight the awesome Hellbat armor moment, right?
Like, I love the Hellbat armor.
It's so cool. And then there's that toy. There's a toy. I think was it Revoltech who just announced a Hellbat? And
yeah, so McFarlane had done a Hellbat several years ago, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. But yeah, Revoltech Yamaguchi just announced one. What was it, like a week ago or something like
this
that?
Thing
and it
is
looks absolutely
bonkers.
ridiculous. I looked at that and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I sent this to Andrew and I was like, it's really dumb, but it's also the tightest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Like,
yeah, man.
Oh,
Hellbat
dude,
is one of the coolest armors.
It's Play Arts Kai Batman Beyond. That's exactly what we're looking at right here.
Yeah, that's essentially, yeah. It's true.
But so the other thing I wanted to hit while we're still talking about Court of Owls and, you know, the compliments to it is I'm still surprised they were able to pull off the hero has a long lost villainous like sibling, right? And it didn't really feel all that out of pocket, at least for me. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, we meet a character in this run named Lincoln March, who is a socialite running for mayor of Gotham. He is a friend of Bruce's just from being in the same circles. We eventually discover that he is the Court of Owls' Batman, essentially. They once Batman went on the scene, the court went, we don't know who he is. We got to get ourselves one of those. So they, you know, they tagged Lincoln March, put him through the Talon training, all that. In the end, we discover that as far as he knows, Martha Wayne and had a the public story is that Martha was pregnant with 2 kids, Bruce and another. She lost the other in pregnancy. Bruce was born. March believes that, as the Court of Owls told him, that he was born and put in a Gotham hospital for like sickly children that eventually went under because of underfunding and all that fun stuff. And they plucked him out of there and went, you're a Wayne. You know, we're going to parallel this shit as much as we can. And ta-da! Lincoln March, the Talon, the original Talon. I think there's a shot of him somewhere in here fighting. Oh yeah, there we go. Owl to Bat right there. That's the easy one when he's in his armor. Whoa, I hit the wrong button. There we go almost. I just got to zoom out, zoom back in. So yeah, he becomes an owl. Batman beats him. We end the series with Batman going, I know the facts. And I know, according to everything I can look up, like, yes, my mother did visit this hospital a lot for some reason, you know, when I was a kid. I don't get it. But he's like, I don't believe it. Like, I'm just choosing not to believe that this is my brother. And that's like kind of where he ends it. And I'm kind of a fan of that, right? Where it's just like, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. That's how powerful the court is. Like, do you really, 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 really know? And sadly, they bring him back and turn him into just like a generic villain. And he dies somewhere really stupidly. And it's just another case of some other writer was tasked to handle this. And they just dropped the ball. They just didn't know how to keep it going. But
it's incredibly rare that another writer picks up another writer's ideas and tries to finish them off, that they do it well. That doesn't happen that
it really,
especially when you have
when
the initial writer is working on something a little more high concept, you know, a little more like it's something big, which means there's a lot of moving parts. Yeah, look at the Krakoa stuff for Hickman. Look at the ultimate stuff for Hickman. Look at, you know, anything by Morrison that was
Oh
picked up
God,
on by
yeah.
somebody else, right? Like just try. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. No, I'm gonna put my head through my desk instead. That sounds like a better time, you know, and probably more productive. So it this is why it's really important to make sure that your writers are kind of aligned. You want your writers to be able to tell the stories that they want to tell, but you got to have some sort of an alignment so your audience isn't just like, so we just wasted all of this cool stuff because this is what it came to.
That, or just, you know, kind of, because like, well, first I only have this up because remember Harper Row? I think we talked about her like 3 weeks ago when I brought her up, but I'm like, oh right.
Yeah.
She
Which
gets
was probably the
introduced
first
here
time that she'd been brought up in about a decade.
in like ever, because yeah, nobody remembers this character. She's terrible. She's terrible. What good cover art or what variants can we look at here? We'll look at that one. That one's pretty good. But
That's a pretty good shot.
It's really so good. What was I gonna say about all the Court of Owls stuff? I guess oh no, it's what you just said about the lack of direction, right? As we heard from Snyder earlier, that's not a bad place to start, to have all, you know, just pitch me anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do that, like Andrew said, it makes everything sort of like big and everything swinging, and you can get lost. You also don't know what to read, right? Like I know, even for myself, I'm looking at all 52 series. I don't know where to start. I went to release order, right? So Justice League, da 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 da. But otherwise, you're looking at like 52 series, and you have no idea where your favorite character is or what the genre is, and it's a lot of like, they maybe did the planning properly for like 25 of the series, and then tried to really, really rush it and like get everything on board at the very, 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 very end, and you can kind of tell it, right?
Yeah.
That, and then just obviously swings for the sake of swings, things like Superman and Wonder Woman, or I can't even remember half the other changes. There's a lot of other dumb changes that I know you and I did not have the time to go over because, again, 52 stories. It's so expansive.
There are books worth reading in the New 52 era.
There absolutely
Some
are.
of them because they're just genuinely good books, even within that character. Some of them good books, even if they're not great necessarily historically for the character. Sometimes two things can be true at once. It's like when you have a movie that's like not great adaptation of something, but it's still a really good movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So sometimes you gotta take the good with the bad. There's a lot of really garbage. Yep.
Yep. Perfect timing.
You know, they miss the mark, and sometimes you need a little bit more guardrails.
And you know what? Like, I think that is probably the biggest takeaway from New 52. I don't think, you know, we don't think that it was a bad effort or a bad attempt or a bad idea. It gave us some really good things. I mean, you and I love Court of Owls, that Manipul Flash run. You and I like drool over the art all the time, right? Like,
yeah, Francis Manipul's art is incredible.
He's the freaking man. I'm so happy when they did that Trinity series later on and they put him on it. And that's the other thing, guys. Obviously, we know that the New 52 was sort of a rolling experiment, right? Like, they did 52 series, canceled some things, replaced them, yada, 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 up until we got to Rebirth. Andrew and I didn't want to get into everything because that's what, 5 years of 52 books and just everything out there. So we really did want to just
put together a reading list and put it on the like the community wall for the channel. That's like, hey, here are some recommended actual worthwhile reads from this era.
Actually, speaking of, yes, we should absolutely do that. Speaking of, give me 1 second. I forgot that I wanted to do. It's not New 52. We're done with the books, guys. We're wrapping up here. Don't worry. I just needed to find something for. I know I have a bunch of. Where is all the stuff you sent me? Where is all my Blue Shift stuff? Like, genuinely, where did I put all of my like media for Blue Shift? I'm angry. Type in blue. Nope. All right, we're just gonna do this then. Andrew, can you send me an image of the Rippazine cover, if you would be so kind? Okay. Yeah. So while Andrew does that, I wanted to hit on 2 fun bits of trivia related to the New 52. So the first of those being, for those of us who know the sort of drama element or the personal creator element of comic books and, you know, the various shitstorms and online things and yada, 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 you might laugh as hard as Andrew and I did at this, which is in the New 52, one of the launch books was The Fury of Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. It's our boy Jason Rush. We all know it. Guys, the creative team on this book is Gail Simone on writing, Ethan Van Sciver on art. It is really, really funny. You can actually, like, I flipped through it, I read through it. You can see, like, the tension between the two of them, where Ethan's like, I don't want to do this, but Gail's like, it has to be in here. So, obviously, we all know who won out in that battle anyway. Go read Uncanny X-Men. The second thing I wanted to mention, just because you and I joked about it, it's probably something to hit if we're talking about the New 52. Along with all of our big series, right? We did get some swings out of DC. We got I, Vampire. We got Men at War. We got this Voodoo book here, right? I don't think... So when Andrew and I were talking, when we were on Foil Variant last and we were saying, oh, we're going to have the special... We joked like, oh, remember Voodoo? Who even read Voodoo? Voodoo has not, nobody from this series has ever appeared again. Like it was no characters, no references, nothing. I went and I looked at, you know, when I was looking at the schedule, Voodoo #1 was the last book on the like 52. And I'm like, okay, so you set it up to fail. You put this book at the very end, something nobody knows, and everybody's already either like tired of the 52
most
or
of your
they're
audience is
latched in.
tuned out of this era at that point.
So I'm like, that's just really bad on your, like, there's no good reasoning to that one. There it is. Okay, now that I've got that, I can save that cover. It's convenient. I can go here, because speaking of, I meant to write this tweet like while we were on air and then I got distracted. But and it'll definitely get buried, but at least I can put this up on here for everybody to see. So with that mention of a reading list and, you know, Andrew saying maybe we'll put it down in the bottom, I want to end this episode with a little, I guess, announcement-ishy type thing. So going forward, guys, we know we've been a little spotty with Foil Variant. We know we've had our schedules disrupted and everything. We are, from this point, from 52, we're going to try a lot better or to be, you know, on point, on schedule. We'll be with you every week. In the weeks we can't, we'll try to provide, you know, a solo stream or an upload or something like that. But in service of all of this, we have launched a bunch of Foil Variant social medias. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We haven't really started populating them yet. I wanted to wait until we were all here. We'll eventually have a website that I'm currently working on where Andrew and I we are aiming to, and hopefully it'll come to fruition, you know, share more comic book news, intellectually honest comic book news and comic book takes, and even just sort of, like what do you call it? Like lists of things that are coming up, resources all in one place. So we're looking towards a New 52 era here at the Rippaverse, or damn it, New 52 era here at Foil Variant. What show am I on? It's because I have this up, because as part of this whole revamp, and as I announced the last time we were together, Hellbat, not you, wrong one. Anyway, isn't Hellbat pretty cool? Yeah, he's so damn cool. Somebody give me money for that. But on our Twitter, I have posted the sign up form for a raffle. If you would like to win either a standard or collector's foil edition of Andrew's first Rippazine #5, featuring the debut of his own hero, his own unique work. It's incredible. Go to our Twitter, twitter.com/foilvariantshow. Sign up on that Google Doc form. We're going to leave it up for about 2 weeks, because here's the deal, guys. We want you guys to have time to enter, to, you know, make sure there's a bunch of people to actually raffle against. We will pull the name on the next proper episode of Foil Variant. To that end, next week, we're going to have a slight disruption as our boy Andrew is finally going to go have some much needed downtime after cons and promoing Blue Shift and everything. I know you need it. So next week, Andrew will be, I was going to say incognito, but that's not right.
I'll be spending time with Mary.
Yes, with Mary. I don't want to blow up the spot, all right? I don't want to blow up the spot. But yeah, so Andrew's going to go hang out with Mary, probably get really hard at work on Room of Requirement, right? But
yes,
with Andrew being out next week, I'm going to bring back the we are going to bring back the solo options. So when Andrew's not available, I'm going to try streaming, superhero related video games or something. Andrew will also try as well when I'm not around. I know his schedule's a little more spotty and I'm just throwing that on him right now, but I'll definitely be around when we try to do those solo streams. So this coming Thursday, you guys can come hang out with me. We will play some Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. We'll pick back up on that. In 2 weeks, we will be back here for another foil variant. I know we have a lot to talk about, actually. Like, even though we just skipped 1 week, it's like this week had a lot to talk about, surprisingly. So,
yeah.
With all that, guys, as Andrew said, we will be putting up a new 52 reading list, something like that. I have a whole set of like fancy graphics that I've been working on where we can share reading lists and recs and like our pictures each week of our polls. So we're really going to go for foil variant 52.0 right here. So hang out with us. Thank you guys for hanging out with us to talk the new 52. Like Andrew said, there is stuff that is worth reading in it. Definitely dive into it. Anything Green Lantern is pretty much, a recommendation.
It's an easy
the core Batman book, you can't go wrong with that. Batman and Robin was pretty good. Yeah, what else am I thinking
Batman
of?
the Dark Knight, at least
Dark
the
Knight's,
first arc.
I like that one.
I genuinely don't remember. I think there are 3 more after that. 4 more after
Dark
that,
Knight,
something like that.
Dark Knight leads to, that's the build-up book for Death in the Family.
Yeah.
And so it ends after Death in the Family.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is a good one as well. Like I said, I recommend Action Comics. Justice League is pretty. That's pretty much, I think, the best recommendation I can give there.
First one's pretty. And then I guess the third one as well.
Yeah, I guess. As long as Lee is on the pencils, it's pretty. But obviously,
the final arc, the 2-part, the Dark Side War is pretty because it's
Fabok. It's Fabok, and they get to put on all those new. That Flash form is it's so badass. The glowing red, skeletal. It's awesome. So, yeah, guys, that's our look back at the new 52. Some things worked, some didn't. But yeah, I guess. Andrew, anything to add before we head out here on this Easter Sunday evening?
Yeah, guys. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter, Resurrection Day, whatever you end up calling it, and celebrate.
Absolutely.
I hope that you do take advantage of signing up for that sign up to win a copy of Rippazine number 5, because that is our first book at the Rippaverse that is completely sold out of all covers.
They didn't even have
none.
You guys didn't even have any. Yeah. That's so crazy.
And none at MegaCon. The only ones I got to sign were the ones that people had received in the mail from their pre-orders
that they brought to
MegaCon, specifically to get signed by me. So thankfully I got to sign a couple of those. That was very special. I'm super appreciative and thankful for that opportunity. So thank you to everybody that did support that. Sign up for that. Try and get a copy, because those are no longer available. You cannot get one right now. They're gone.
I put them away somewhere. But we have 2 copies of each. We have 2 copies of the standard, 2 copies of the collector. There's a standard cover, all beautiful and colorful. I don't even it's a crime to show a still image of that.
The collector's just no photo or video does it justice, especially with my ring light in front of it and having all the reflecting.
And I'm not even being bro simp right now. Guys, I got that thing in my hand and I was I messaged, I was I'm stunned. This is it does not do justice.
We're kind of foil variant snobs here. For good reasons. Kind of the brand, right?
Do you kind of know where we are?
Yeah, I kind of.
Do you know what you're watching right now? But
do you even know where we are? Yeah, so please sign up for that. And then also, if you guys are fans of Harry Potter, I know that there's a ton of Harry Potter news happening right now. They just today dropped on HBO Max the it's kind of a makings of documentary type of thing, which I haven't had the chance to watch yet. I think Mary and I are going to watch that together when I go visit her this week. which that'll be really fun.
They're already doing like a making thing, or like make
They
or, like,
did a
let it
makings
out?
of to kind of. I think what they did with that is because they wanted to show people the level of detail that they're taking with these sets and things,
Okay, I can see that.
and all that. So I'm interested to check it out. I've seen some screenshots. I'm like, oh man, like they're definitely taking high levels of detail for a lot of the stuff, except for one.
Uh-oh.
They
What
have
could
one
it be?
black mark on their record.
You'll have to. Well, I don't know how to address that comment.
So if you guys are Harry Potter fans, check out Room of Requirement. It's Mary's and my Harry Potter Lore channel. We've got some great editors. Dylan edits, Trace helps out. And we have a ton of fun creating what we're doing over there. So look forward to more Harry Potter lore videos over there. We take it from the perspective of it's teachers teaching a class. So each video, whether it's Mary, she's recording and writing her scripts from the character that she created and is teaching her students, and I do the same. It's a lot of fun. It's a great exercise in writing as well. And
Sure, yeah.
yeah, we're enjoying the heck out of it. So I hope you guys enjoy it too.
Alrighty, with that, Subhuman asks, statue when? Of Zephyr? When do we get our action figure?
You know, I would.
I know those McFarlane Icems are getting out, and they look great.
They actually look really good. If McFarlane wants to make a figure or a statue of my character, I am fully in support of that.
Look, I mean,
I'm a little biased.
It's not
I think I have the coolest looking character.
It's not out of the possibility.
Biased.
It's not out of the possibility nowadays. Not out of the possibility.
Maybe I just need to go up to him at a con and be like, "Hey, I know you've already done a bunch of stuff.
No, you need to do the crazy person
but you
thing.
haven't done anything of this yet.
You got to do the crazy person thing and take like your kit bash of like Flash figures that you painted up like blue shit and be like, do this. See, it's easy, and just like throw it at him, and like that. That'll get us in stores by holiday 2026. We got it.
There you go. There it is. There it is. We'll make it happen.
But guys, yeah, with that, I think we are out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us on Sunday. This is not a regular thing. We will be back regular Thursdays. We're hanging out there still. But yeah, cool that we got to see a lot of you regulars. Everybody still tuned in. That's all I got. Go read the new 52, I guess. Go buy some compact comics. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Go get your new 52 compacts.
Some DC compacts, yeah.
But with that,
it's
guys,
cheaper and it's fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And you're supporting a good release format. We talk about it on the show. Come join us next week. We'll see you soon. Everybody, take it easy.
God bless and God
save you. You broke the chronal barrier, went back in time, prevented your mother's murder, and completely changed the time stream.
Nearly destroying the entire world along the way. Yes. There's still something I don't understand.
Well, the big news in DC Comics is that we're about to launch 52 all-new series. 52 great artists, 52 great writers, and so much going on. I just can't wait for everybody to see it.
Everything is new, everything is fresh, our heroes are young.
So, what can you do?
New ways of looking at characters, new ways of thinking about characters, things that were familiar will now be kind of unfamiliar. Things that may have seemed stale or boring are suddenly being revitalized and plugged into feelings that people are having right now.
Get the hell out of my cave.
We're going to be bold, we're going to be different, we're going to do things that you never expected.
I've got you now.
Just like in the movies.
We're going to take these iconic characters and we're going to give you a fresh new look. And, I think we delivered on that on every level. Coming up with new looks, new storylines.
You're not just some guy in a bat.